Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening. This is Jonathan Alexander, and I'm here to host my show, Life, Laughter, Happiness. Our guest today is Joan Carra, who is a psychic who has been able to communicate with those who are passed on. And we're going to talk to her about her experiences when she is calling in. So she should be calling in soon. I would like to take some time to talk a little bit about the show and what I'm hoping to accomplish with it. Now, I'm trying to get as many guests as I can on as many topics as I can. I would like to have, like this Saturday, I'm going to be interviewing Jacqueline Patterson again. She is the medical cannabis patient, and I believe this might be Joan right now.
Hello, Jonathan.
Hey, how are you? Is this how you doing?
Yeah, this is Joan.
Yeah, this is. So tell me something. You channel spirits, or do the spirits come to you, or do you ask for them?
I ask for them. Actually, I do a little meditation, and I just tell them that to perceive me as an open vessel, an invisible telephone, and they can speak through me. Okay.
I see.
And it's the energies, it's the consciousness of people that the clients know. It's not like, just any old spirit. It's people that are connected to the people that it asked me to channel.
I understand. Do you feel anything when it happens? Like, do you feel what's it feel like when you start to hear, when you know that you're about to hear something from someone who is departed?
The first thing is, for some reason, I get this symbol in my mind's eye of a hand with a yellow rose, and that means welcome from the other side.
Okay.
And then I hear a voice, but the voice is the same as the psychic voice I hear, except it would say, "Oh, tell Jonathan hello." It would name the person, perhaps. Sometimes I feel a little twinge on my body, like, oh, they had trouble with their leg. It doesn't hurt me, but it's a little tingling sensation. Sometimes I see a little picture in my head, like daydreaming when you see a picture.
Daydreaming.
The pictures you see while you daydream.
Mm-hmm. So you might see a rose, or you might see an eagle or something?
No, nothing like that. I don't see an eagle. I see, nope, I don't know why you got me to the eagle. I think there's a book, The Eagle and the Rose, but I don't see an eagle. I just see in the beginning, when I'm starting a session, a rose. That just says once, welcome. That means I made contact.
I understand. Do you always see the rose?
Yes. Only once, just for the beginning.
I see.
I don't know why, but it's just a symbol.
And then what happens? What happens next after you see the rose?
Well, sometimes I'll hear a name, maybe, or a little picture, and I'll announce the picture, and if it connects to the person, I'll keep going and looking at it. It's like watching, how we have all these channels on TV?
Yes.
And sometimes you stop because something's more interesting. So if I mention it to the client and they say, yes, that makes sense, I'll stay on that channel and look at the picture.
Okay. I don't mind if you, I hope it's okay with me to ask you this, but when I read I have a book called The Top 100 Psychics in America, and when I read your entry, you said that you specialized in communicating with extraterrestrials. What's been your experience with that?
Yeah, at that time, I was in a UFO group in New York City.
Okay.
And I was very involved with it for quite a while. And once a month, a group of people would talk about experiences, dreams, or visitations, or interests about UFOs. I had connection with UFOs through dreams that I had. I never had a negative situation, but more of a positive.
I understand.
And I had some friends who had asked me that they had visitations and they wanted to contact the aliens or interdimensional beings, whatever they were. And that's what I did for them. I haven't pursued this line for quite a while, but about maybe, let me see, it's 207, more like 10 years ago. That was that was really what was happening for me. Now it's like not really happening that much. Now it's more like really doing people, like last night I did a bereavement group of people who just lost children, only parents who lost children. So be more on that line. I miss the ETs, but it's just not happening right now in my life.
I just thought I'd ask you about it.
No, it was great because it's something I kind of miss. It's always exciting.
When you, let me ask you this. Do you feel, like for instance, let's say an atheist just passed on. What does the spirit usually say to you if the person is an atheist?
You know, I did have an experience like that. A woman told me that her father definitely did not believe in life after death and anything like that, but he did come through. And then he said that, well, now he believed in it. He wasn't an atheist, but he was somebody who didn't believe in this, so he did say that. And then I had last night, it was a surgeon who said, announced that, well, I really don't see that. There's no science to this process, but I will do it. But I don't really, agree with something that's not scientific proven. So I did have that experience from a doctor's point of view.
Well, like for instance, you would think somebody, like a dead celebrity, like for instance, Madeline Murray O'Hare.
Wait, who?
Madeline Murray O'Hare.
Who's that?
She was a lady who's been she's probably the most famous atheist.
Oh, the one who did the lawsuit, and
yes.
Yes, and do you know that her son is the opposite of her?
Yes, I know that.
He's a minister or something. Yeah, right. Oh, if I channeled her?
Yeah.
Oh, big question. That is something very profound.
Because what would she say now? I mean, it's like...
I don't know. I'd have to channel her. I mean, that's a good question. You know what? I'm wondering, maybe she wouldn't even come through. I don't know. That's something that is very... I know that the person who channeled that book, The Course in Miracles,
yes, in
the beginning of the book states that she was an atheist.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. These are big questions. If I channeled Madeline O'Hare, because no one's here to confirm, I wouldn't know if I had her or not. But wow, do
you think you'd ever try?
I would try, except how would I know it's her unless somebody who close to her said, yeah, that's what she used to do or something. You know what I mean?
All I remember, she
Wow.
was someone who was like, not only was she an atheist, she was willing to, she was one of the rare ones. I've seen a lot of atheists who were believers at one time and now they're not. They tend to evolve. They tend to grow.
Yeah.
They at least tend to grow, and then they just become atheists. But she's the one case I've ever seen of somebody who's never believed. I mean, I'm sure there are cases like her, but she's pretty far to the, extreme.
Wow. Yeah.
And so, or another one would be Carl Sagan. I mean, he's another one.
He was an atheist?
Carl Sagan was a big atheist, yes.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that. You know what's interesting? The first time I performed, we had some UFO art shows, like multimedia, and I performed some UFO poems. And there was someone from Carl Sagan's show who taped what I did. And I heard it, I didn't see it, but I heard that it did get on the show. I don't know in what context. It was about a poem about who is it that comes, and I described some UFO experiences. Wow, that's very interesting. I didn't know that about Carl Sagan. I mean, is it more that he's a scientist, that things have to be proven scientifically, or there's just no God?
My guess is that he was more of a scientist.
Yeah.
because I think that, but it's like Madeline Murray O'Hare was not just an atheist. I mean, she was very, 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 it was almost like you couldn't even convince her.
Yeah, and she was an activist, too, so it was, wow. It's an interesting question. That would be interesting to get a group of psychics to channel her. I mean, I was asked to channel Houdini, but part of me feels I got him, but there's a part of me that goes, I mean, I'm more secure and confident when it's people who know the person that I channeled, and they'll say, yeah, that was exactly it.
This is what's interesting about Madeline Murray O'Hare, and I guess I can tell you this story. I have a grandmother who passed away about a year or so ago on July 4th. And she was the polar opposite of Madeline Murray O'Hare. She was about as Baptist as Madeline Murray O'Hare was atheist. Okay? That's how religious my grandmother was. Here's the weird part. For many, many years, they looked like twins. I mean, it was like, you saw, this is what my mom would say. She's like, oh my God, they look just alike. I mean, it was just sort of like, it's like, and it's like, and there was, I mean, my mom is like, my grandmother was like this Georgia Southern Baptist, okay? Just real, I mean, intense. You couldn't, it's like, this is a woman who had a stroke and could memorize the Bible after the stroke.
Oh, my God.
I mean, she was, it's like, she was just, just amazing. And I got to thinking, and I was thinking that, you would think someone who is as polar opposite of those, that they would have met. And I think they did exchange a phone conversation.
Really?
But I think there was one, but the only reason I'm bringing up my grandmother is that I never really thought to go to someone who would channel those who were passed on, because I don't know anybody that's really passed on that really.
Yes.
With the exception of my grandmother and my grandfather on my mother's side.
Yeah.
And those are really the only two people that I can really think of.
Well, would you like me to do it?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. Just tell me your grandparents' name.
Elsie Mitchell.
Wait, Elsie Mitchell's your grandma?
Yes.
And what's your grandfather?
James Mitchell.
James. Okay, Elsie and James. Yeah, I asked the names because I want to grab onto the energy, and I want to focus on them and not get like your great uncle who you may not know and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I do get an energy around the heart. Did any of them have a heart problem?
I know that my grandfather, he smoked a lot.
No, don't give me information. But heart problems, heart attack.
No, I don't think so.
No, they didn't have heart attack. Okay. I keep getting that. Okay. Could be someone next to them, okay? Okay. Did any of them, I get blue eyes around them. Anyone with blue eyes there?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay, you would know. Okay. All right, I could be getting some other relatives around you or people who are alive that they're talking to. Your parents have blue eyes or heart problem?
Well, I mean, no, I can't think of any.
No, okay, so I'm for some reason I am getting someone like that. I'm not saying it's your grandparents. I'm going to push that energy away because it's somebody who may be close to your grandparents.
Yeah.
If they had another child or whatever, but that keeps coming up, and I just want to move that person around so I could connect to your grandparents.
Okay.
And you may think of that person later on after the phone call. Sometimes I have that people say, "Oh, that's what she was talking about," and I know right now it sounds general, but okay. I get a couple of things. I hear a store. I don't know if anybody had a store in your family. Then the other thing is, do you know anything with American Indians connect to you?
American Indians?
Yeah.
Yes, there is Indians in my. My grandfather has an Indian heritage.
Yeah, okay, because that's what I was getting, strong American Indian heritage. And it seems like there's also great stories. I get storytelling from your grandparents. And you know a bit of history just from their stories, because it seems like there's a long line of people there. And somebody was very good at fixing things with their hands. Anybody work with their hands a lot?
I don't know how well my grandfather was.
Yeah. Okay. Now, were they around for a while, or did?
Oh, yes, they were around for a while.
Okay, so you know them well. Okay, good. Okay.
I mean, I knew my grandmother better than I knew my.
Yeah. Okay, but you know them. Okay. Did she have I see a lot of hats. Did she have a lot of hats?
Hats? I think my grandfather did. I think.
Oh, your grandfather, the one with the hats, yeah, because there's different hats, and formal. He liked to wear his hats.
Yeah.
Do you have a brother?
No, I do not have a brother.
Oh, you don't? Okay, I'm getting a lot of stuff here. If I'm missing it, all right. Does your all right? Let me get it straight. The brother. Do you know your uncle? Do you know your great uncle?
No, I don't.
No. Okay. Do you know if your grandfather or grandmother had a brother?
If he did, I didn't know them well.
Oh, you don't know much. Okay. All right. Because I get a big family here. I don't get I get the grandparents. There's a lot of them.
There is a big family. That is true. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a big family. So they're talking about other members of the family that they're with, because it's crowded up there.
Is that what they're talking about?
Yeah. There's a lot of people up there that they're with. They're not alone. Okay.
Okay.
So they have a big family, and it's very active with. I keep hearing storytellers. I mean, you may have handed down they may have handed down some great stories of them. Now, wait, one? I do believe one came from a farm. It may not be your grandparents, but the heritage is farming there. And, boy, somebody talks about a boat. Even though you're Southern, I get somebody who came more from, it doesn't mean the grandparents, but it could be great-grandparents. Somebody came more from Virginia or something. They came further up north and then went down to the south. And is this, I get a strong connection to your mother. Is this your mother's parents?
I'm not sure.
Oh, you don't know who your grandparents, mothers, or your dads?
Oh, no, I'm talking about my maternal grandparents.
Oh, they're from you. Okay. What
I don't
about
know
your?
Where they're from, but I mean.
No, not from them, but beyond them, like great grandparents or something. Do you know your mother's? Do you know your mother's grandparents? Do you know the grandparents from your mother?
Oh, you mean my great grandparents?
No. You have your father's parents and you have your mother's parents.
Yes.
So do you know your mother's parents?
I knew my mother's parents, but they're the ones that are dead.
Oh, they're the ones that are dead. That's what I'm asking. If I was, well, who were I talking to before? Your grandparents of your father?
No, my grandparents of my mother.
The grandparents of them, not your grandparents.
No, my grandparents.
Okay, on your mother's side.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. If it's on your mother's side, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
my mother's parents.
Yeah, because before you said it paternal, so I didn't know what I got.
I said maternal, but.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Then it was, yeah, because I was getting that it's your mother's side. Wait a minute here. Yeah, your mother's very different. She seems to be a more modern woman than, the heritage of your grandparents, which is usual, but it's more of a modern energy there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fun with them. Very caring people. This is like, especially your grandfather's very good with activities with you. I still get this thing about the storytelling. Did you? I mean, how do I put it? Not everybody's a good storyteller, but I get in your family they are. do they just have these great stories
Well,
of how they say it?
it depends on what you mean. I mean, you know, because I think most families at family reunions, there's a lot of stories.
Well, we don't. In my family, we don't really have the storyteller because we don't even have family reunions. I'm kind of like, it's kind of cut off. But I get heritage, almost like, how do I put it? It's like you may hear the story all the time,
Right.
of certain stories, or even like from way in the past, like you handed
Well, there
down
are stories about my family that, you know, like, for instance, my sister knows that, you know.
Yeah, it's just handed down, and they're very, you know, perfectly like stories, like almost anyway, storytelling families. I do get a Richard in the family. Do you know a Richard?
Not that I know of.
A cousin or anything? Okay. Sometimes if you take notes and then you find out, sometimes ask around because this Richard comes up. And I get. Somebody had an operation, more on their side. Your grandmother, any kind of surgery?
Oh, you mean my grandparents having surgery?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a lot of surgery.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Oh, yeah, a lot of surgery. Yeah, from illnesses. But they are very interesting people, and they're very much around you. It's almost like, how do I put it? You know, it's funny because they're very connected to their elders, and I get them like showing a tour of the family now. And your grandfather was very handy, and interesting about the radio. Let me just see why you're connecting with the radio. Because your grandfather, in a way, it makes sense. Your grandfather says, even as a kid, you had a good energy about collecting information and communicating. That's what your grandfather says.
That's what he says?
Yeah, yeah.
So you've connected with my grandfather.
Yeah, and you may get this talent also from your dad. It seems. It's like if dad is good with researching and getting the words out. Yeah. Now, where is this show is on? Now, I'm not as savvy as you about the internet. This show is on the internet, right?
Yes, it's on the internet. So anybody that could be listening, that could be on the website, could be listening. This means it could potentially be anyone. I mean, we could have like no listeners, but we could also have 10,000. So
your website is, what is your website called?
It's Blog Talk Radio.
Wait, say it again.
Blog Talk Radio.
Blog Talk Radio.
Talk Radio.
And what is your show called?
Life, Laughter, Happiness.
Say it again.
Life, Laughter, Happiness.
Oh, Life, Laughter, Happiness. Okay, that's a good one.
Life, Laughter, Happiness.
Yeah, I get it.
It would be a nice universal name.
It is good. It's good. Yeah, when I went to the website, that's right. You have all different subjects that you talk about.
Well, I try to. Yeah, I mean, are you in touch with my grandmother?
Yeah, I'll talk to her. Yeah, I mean, yeah, she's still there. I also think she was a good cook, but I get like different foods now for you. You're not really eating like the type of food your grandmother's eating. It's different, you know, more of the modern day fast thing, but different foods. Did she ever like teach Sunday school or something?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, because I see her, teaching. She loved doing that too. She was good with the kids.
Oh yeah, she was. She was great.
Yeah, she loved teaching kids. It was really good. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people remember her because she really touched a lot of hearts. She could be a little strict, but that was part of it. That was part of, discipline was important and being tidy. She says, she uses the word tidy. So she likes, to be in her class also means to be well groomed in the class and sitting up straight. She's funny. So you have to do everything proper. That's the word she uses, tidy and proper.
Mm-hmm.
And she's very proud of you because you have a lot of different interests, and you did well in school. And you're expanding, you're growing. There's almost like an energy of, this is just the first phase, and then you're going to be going broadening out. I don't know when this happens for you, Jonathan.
Yeah.
It's very interesting but I do get you're going to be connecting to Europe. I don't know if it's an interview or you go. There's something there.
I'm going to be interviewing someone in Europe.
Well, I don't know if it's an interview or you actually go. There's a connection to Europe with some of the things that you do or the research you do.
What does my grandmother think of my show? My grandparents.
Well, she's amazed because they don't really understand the computer, but they're amazed and they're very proud that you're pursuing such a these intellectual pursuits, and plus you have fun. You have a good time when you do it. And here, your grandmother goes, here you can meet people from all over the world, and you're home. And she says it's just amazing. And she says it's like being a teacher. You're like being a teacher because you're collecting information from people and sharing it.
What about my grandfather? Is he the same thing?
Oh, no, they're very proud of you. They're very proud. Your grandfather, is he, I could be wrong on this, is he quieter than your grandmother?
Yes.
Yeah, he's more of a quieter man. And I still think he what's the word? He talks about, I don't know what he did, but there's something like tangible, like products or something.
My mother.
Did he ever make anything? Did he make things?
Well, my mother would know him better than
Yeah, because I don't know what he did. He's showing me things that he made or something. Like your thing is very different because you're doing more of a cerebral thing. It's like energy that's in the air. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So your grandmother understands it because she taught, but your grandfather, it's just very different from his world. It's like such a different world. It's very exciting. I still hear Europe.
Europe? Where in Europe?
I don't know where. I haven't connected, but either you're going to be talking to people in Europe or you're going to go. It comes up. And you're going to start, like, what is it? I guess these go on, you burn DVDs or something of your chats?
No, I don't burn DVDs of my chats. But
people find them. Is it on the Internet? They go back and
it's
they find
archived.
it?
It is
archived. Okay, yeah, I wouldn't know because I'm not good with the computers. But, they're archived. Okay. I see. It's archived. So, but I see products. I see you, like, selling something.
Well, I've been selling vitamins off and on. I'm not.
Okay.
Sure, I'm not quite sure what my grandparents would think of that.
Well, they're proud of anything you do, they said, because you're always curious. That's when your grandmother goes. You're always curious, and you're always willing to try things.
Yeah.
So she's proud of that. You don't want to they didn't want you to be dull. You're always trying different things, so that's very interesting.
Have they made any attempts to communicate?
Oh, with you? Okay. Let me see. They say yes. I also see they were very, very aware, concerned, or what's the word? Very around. When you were a little boy, they were very active in your life.
Yes, they were.
Yeah, very active in your life. And boy, she kept saying how cute you were. Let me just see something. Yeah, it's interesting. I get them almost like tapping you on the shoulder. Now, sometimes messages from beyond come very subtly. I don't know if they came through your dreams or...
Well, I did have a few dreams where it seemed like they were talking to me.
Oh, good. So, yeah. And are you doing something with haunted houses?
Well, I'm doing, I did do a thing in parapsychology in college where, the guy had done things with but I am talking to a guy. There is a possible guest that's coming up. Ooh, I'm trying to get Raymond Moody on.
Oh, wow.
And he does this sort of thing. So it's possible that might happen. I don't know.
But he doesn't do haunted houses. Raymond Moody's more like near-death experiences.
Well,
I know the two groups here. I know people who have these, they're based on Raymond Moody's work, the near-death experience. They have groups that I lectured at.
What you're saying is you think that I might be going in a haunted house.
Well, I don't know if you're going or interviewing someone who does haunted houses.
Yeah.
I just get that. I get, like, you yourself being very open and sensitive and creating a whole psychic energy of yourself.
But what does my grandmother think of it?
She goes, even though she's a Baptist, she says it's all right because it's you're following your energy and your path, and your journey, and you have a very beautiful spiritual side to you, and you're a seeker. So, can
you ask her about the conversation she had with Madeline Murray O'Hare?
Yeah. Oh my God. She called her a disagreeable woman. And it was like a debate. And she said,
has she met her in the afterlife?
Oh, good question. She goes yes and no. Now that I don't understand. That's a good question. All I could say for that is I get a yes and I get a no. It's more about the way we physically meet, so it's different.
Yeah. And
it's like she didn't really seek her out, but the energy is there.
Mhm.
And in our physical terms, we wouldn't understand your grandmother's answer to that. So that's how I have to phrase it.
In other words, maybe they're still on a different plane.
Yeah, something like that.
You want to try channeling Madeline Murray O'Hare?
All right, let's try. Oh, this is a challenge. Okay, let me go through this. All right, now you may know more about her than me, like, I don't know what she looks like or whatever, so here we go. Okay, if she comes through, she may not want to come through.
If she doesn't come through, she doesn't come through.
Yeah,
I'd love to talk to this person.
Okay. Ooh, she's interesting. The first thing she says is, I still don't believe in the God that you perceive of. Okay.
Right.
I'm a consciousness. I'm conscious, but I'm not a believer of the one Creator. I don't believe that there is a soul, divine spirit. Now this is her saying it. Me as a consciousness can still pursue my reasoning behind my belief. You may say, how could you believe that if you are spirit? So she's saying, spirit is just another form of matter. And I accept that I am now an energy beyond life, but I still don't see that form of intelligent being as a product of a God. That's as she says it. I'm not saying that's my belief. So she is still adamant that she doesn't believe.
Mm-hmm.
Even though she's a consciousness, she's still in that mode. There are things that are mysteries in life, but I'm taking my sense of realism to beyond the grave. That's how she's phrasing it. Yeah. Interesting.
You've never heard an answer like that, huh?
No. Because she still doesn't feel, she doesn't there's no logic behind the belief in God. She's very straightforward about that.
Mm. It's just something I've always thought would be curious. Well, see, you would think that if anybody were to come through, it would be an atheist, because an atheist is someone who, the difference between a Christian and an atheist is a Christian who believes in the afterlife is proven right. The atheist who doesn't believe in the afterlife is proven wrong.
But maybe what she's trying to say is, all right, the afterlife is here, but I still don't believe in the God. I just believe that this is still me living.
Don't you feel something that is God there?
Let me see what she says. It's not that I deny his presence. I don't perceive his presence. Wow.
Do you regret the way you lived your life and the way that you handled dealing with people who believed in religious?
Oh, she goes, no. I had a mission to conserve truth because certain rules were imposed upon certain rules were disposed upon the non-believing. And I wanted to give justice to all, not to justice of only those who believe. Yeah, she fought for she fought for the people who didn't believe to have rights.
Mm-hmm.
And she had a mission. And it was about truth, her truth, or perceiving truth, or debate, or opening up people to a truth.
Have you ever talked to Nostradamus?
Wow.
Well, I mean, after all,
that's a good. I did talk to oh wait, what's his name? The one from The Sleeping Prophet, Casey, and another friend of mine did too. I did automatic writing on Edgar Casey, and what was spooky about him was I got this little message says, "And do you want to dream the nightmares that I had?" And he was always so into doom and gloom. And now with global warming, I go, "Wow, it is doom and gloom."
I just worry. I just would like to ask Nostradamus.
Ask Nostradamus. Let's see if I can do it.
What he thinks about my nickname and.
You what?
What he thinks about my nickname and how I go by his nickname.
He was laughing, a hearty laugh. He laughs because he said, in your time, you can't get in trouble the way he could have. So he's like, you're lucky. He was always on edge of being found, being crucified.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your nickname, Nostradamus?
Yes, it's my it's my chat name. It's my nickname I use all over the place because it was.
No, he has a good laugh. He's glad somebody's keeps his name going. He's funny. He even says not to worry about the future. That we're constantly. The time. He's got a whole concept of time. Let me see what he says. Boy, you challenge your speakers, which is interesting. Let me see. He's wait, no. We're here to give, and we're here to learn, and we're here to love. And he goes, he wants to be light. It's funny. He doesn't want to talk about heavy stuff right now because the fact that he was laughing with you, he was enjoying that because he says that history is a massive undertaking. I don't know what he means by that, but there's so much involved with. He's talking like a doctor to me right now. He goes, there's so much involved with the treatment of disease. I don't know. I'm still curious about healing. He's still in his doctor mode. He's not really talking to me like a prophet. He's really coming across another he loves to study. Let me see but come on, George. We want you to be a psychic. let me see him open up more. The mystery of the flame, organizing thoughts. He says for me to tell you, Jonathan.
Yeah.
You should write down your thoughts of the future.
Uh-huh.
And since you are here to carry his name, for you, he challenges you to write down your thoughts of the future, your predictions or your thoughts of the future. Yeah, he's challenging you. He doesn't want to do all the talking. He said, enough said about me. You're the one who pursues me as the mentor, or who idolizes me. You idolize him. So now go to the next step, and for you to just put your thoughts down.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? What do you think is coming up for the human kind? Or what's happening?
Well, there seems to be a lot of, I think that there's a lot of pessimism, and that can slow people down,
That what?
And that can slow people down.
Yeah.
But I think that's something that a lot of people. Is there a television in the background?
I thought that was yours. It's not mine.
It's not mine, no.
It just comes through the TV?
Huh. Oh, well. It was weird is that one number 2 on my callers, appears, but there's no number.
Oh.
So, anyway. But what I was going to say is I think that there's a lot of pessimism, and the pessimism can kind of create itself. Like, I think if Nostradamus were alive today, everybody always talks about the stuff he predicted as sort of gloomy, and maybe because he couldn't handle today, is my view on it. It's just it's like George Washington. Oh, my goodness, we have a caller.
Okay.
All right. Caller, you're on the air.
Hi. Just listening to your show.
Oh.
Checking it out. I've actually listened to a couple of your shows, but this one, just checking it in. I think she's amazing, what she's saying.
Oh, thank you. And what's your name?
Keisha.
Hi, Keisha. And you were from Atlanta?
No, I'm from Canada.
Oh, wow, this is really all over the place.
Yes,
it's amazing.
It is. It's all over the world. Potentially anybody in the world could hear it.
Well, that's exciting.
Do you have any questions?
I was just curious, just on you said you see spirits and stuff, right? And you talk to them or whatever.
Well, I talk to people who are their relatives and friends of people who are passed on. I guess they're spirits. I never really call them anything.
Yeah, that's just I find that very fascinating.
Yeah, it is. Do you have a friend or a relative you want me to talk to?
The only person that I've really known that has passed on is my grandfather. Other than that,
okay, what's his name?
George.
Before I get to George, I did hear the word Daniel. Anybody named Dan or Daniel around you?
Don't really know to people in my family.
Keep that in back of your mind, or maybe George is referring to a Daniel or something. Let me just get to George. I get a lot of burning sensation in the stomach, esophagus. Any problems like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm getting that. It's a discomfort. It was, it was an illness. He loved his grandkids. He's showing. I know you're up in Canada, but I see water around him. Who's the one with the boat? Or not they have a boat, but or a lake, or did he live around water, or do you?
I live around water.
Oh, you're the one around water. Yeah, because it's beautiful there. I get a lot of beautiful water and boats. Yeah. So your grandfather is around you, watching over you. And I get the impression that you're married?
Nope.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
I was, though.
You were? Okay, because your grandfather was, I just get him always around you. Well, maybe you're going to get remarried, because I see a man around you.
Well, I have a lot of men around me now.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
I call them fans, stalkers, whatever you call them.
Oh, not stalk. I mean, you do have stalkers? Oh.
Fans, stalkers? Are you famous?
No, it just comes with the territory, I guess.
But are you famous or?
No, I'm not famous, but I'm out there.
Oh,
okay. She attracts the guys. Okay, but you need someone that you feel is protective of you. Your grandfather is. Did your grandmother knit or anything, or crochet?
Oh, all the time.
All the time. That's what I'm seeing. Very strong image. She's still doing it. She loves doing it. That's not for you. You don't have the patience for that. You tried it, but it's not your thing. She could watch TV and knit, and it's like, and she creates amazing things. Blankets, a skirt. Did you ever make a skirt or a dress?
Well, she's made dolls, so maybe that's true.
Oh, okay, dolls. Yeah. And your grandmother's there. I keep getting 24/7 working all the time. I think your grandparents were very hardworking.
Yes, they were. They both were.
Yeah, very hardworking. And even hobbies in the house that were just always,
Well,
they said they weren't on the go the way modern world is, but they did a lot in the house and always. Yeah. They didn't just sit and plop and be couch potatoes. They were just constantly working.
Well, back then they all had 15 kids, didn't they?
Oh, wow. That's a lot. They were working hard, yeah. But the kids were also very independent. All the kids worked hard, too. So they're proud of that. One of the kids was kind of ill, though, sickly, or delicate. Delicate?
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be my mother, actually.
Oh, okay. But she still did well, but she was more delicate, not as hardy as the others. More protective, too. But she's good now. You have some interesting books that you're reading. I think you're very into otherworldly things.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Yeah. And you have some experiences, too, to write about.
Some.
Yeah. Yeah, and
I think we all could write a book, though.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But interesting. Any other questions?
No, I'm totally enjoying the show. I think
good.
You're right on the money for a lot.
Good, thank you.
I particularly enjoy this show that I'm listening to. So.
Yeah, he's very challenging, Jonathan. Asking me to do Nostradamus and Madeline Mario.
So you've listened to my shows in the past, or?
Yeah, she said she has.
Yeah, this would be my third show that I've listened to.
Right.
I've known about Blog Talk for a long time, and I've just actually been more of a caller than on the computer. But now that I've finally got a computer that is strong enough to allow me to get on there and stuff, now I'm like, I have to say, I'm on there too much. Yeah. But,
your computers are addicting, aren't they?
Yeah, that Blog Talk, there's a lot of interesting people, but yeah, I really enjoy your show. You're actually one of my favorites. So.
Really?
That's great.
Yeah, I like your show.
Why do you like it?
Because you have great topics.
Oh, thank you.
You have some good people that call in, and it's worth listening to. I mean, I'm not hanging up in an hour. I don't close off your show. Like, I listen to the whole thing, so.
Yeah.
It keeps me focused on it. And to keep me focused takes a lot.
Aw.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's great. Thank you.
Keep listening.
You guys are welcome. Well, you guys take care, and thanks for taking my call.
Thank you.
All right. You there?
Yeah, I'm there. I just want you to explain to me, so your show is at 6 o'clock every day? Or
No. It can be whenever time I want.
Oh, so when she listens to it, how does she know when you're going to be on?
She looks for me.
Oh, okay, and then it says.
But the good news is like I can have a call. Like I could, for instance, this is the good news about this show is that I'm flexible. I mean, it could potentially be listened to by anyone. It could be potentially, because anybody, if you have the internet, and
it is
you go to my
worldwide,
website, and you have a number that you can call, anybody can listen to it. I am doing the best I can to promote the show as best as I can, and in the future, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start advertising things on the radio.
You're going to advertise what on the radio?
Certain things. What I'm thinking of doing is advertising people's MySpace accounts.
Great. People, you're probably much younger than me. So people on MySpace would pay advertising so people could know about their MySpace thing?
Well, I think the reason why that would be a good thing is because when you have a MySpace page, you can say more than just an ad. Like a MySpace page might be something like, I'm a poet, I need help.
Oh, I see. I never really went to MySpace, so I don't know. How old are you?
I am 35.
That's what I thought, around 30-something. Wow. And your school actually had parapsychology class.
Yes, I did. I had a parapsychology class, and it was taught by a real-life parapsychologist.
Amazing.
It was interesting, and I think that what always fascinated me about the subject was how everyone, we tend to, when it comes to science, and actually it's funny because this sort of ties into what you do, and it has to do with, in my opinion, there's really, when science deals with anything, it always takes one of two stances. Either we know or we don't know yet. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah.
But there's only one thing that science quits on. Science just totally throws up in the towel on. And that is, how do you bring a dead person back to life? Science never does that. Now, people who are purely scientific might think, well, gee, you can't bring a person back to life because it's impossible. But, we don't seem to treat anything else that way. I mean, when it comes to finding the cure for AIDS, we always say we don't know yet.
Right,
When it comes to finding the cure for cancer, we say we don't know yet.
Right.
But if I were to take, like, say, a relative who had died 5 days ago and took him to the doctor's office and say, can you do something about it? The flies are ruining the kitchen. The doctor isn't going to know what to do. He's going to think I'm nuts.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But you see, what I'm trying to say is when it comes to the soul, our explanation of the soul may not make a whole lot of sense to atheists, and it may not seem logical, but it's not that we're not trying to be logical. It's that our explanation, logic is just sort of given up.
Yeah, yeah.
And you talk to the people who are departed simply because...
I can.
Because you can. And people who say, well, this is ridiculous, this is impossible, we can also say, well, what's your explanation? How come you can't bring a dead person back to life? I mean, and the only reason, anybody would call that a miracle because it can't be done, but for some reason, science, I'll give you another example. Science says you can't make matter go faster than the speed of light.
Yeah.
Okay? But if I got in a car tomorrow, put the key in the ignition, and I made it go faster than the speed of light, you're not going to say I'm a wizard or a magician.
Right.
You're going to say, well, Einstein was wrong.
Right, right.
So, and you're going to want to know how he did it. But so when it comes to, that's my opinion, the greatest proof of God is because it's the soul. It's like, the soul exists because you exist. And we also know that if something were to happen to you, there would be no bringing you back.
Right, yeah.
I mean, you never hear about, it's funny, you never hear about too many let's cure death telethons. You never hear about that. I mean, you know, you never hear about that, and it's not like people are too happy at funerals.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, why? I mean, how much money does the government donate every year to cure death? You don't see one penny spent to try to bring dead people back to life. Yet people are really upset. I mean, you know, and this would be a great slogan. The only two things in life are certain are death and taxes. Now, so far, our government doesn't know how to function without taxes, but let's just get rid of the death. You know, because everyone is upset at a funeral.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you can cure death, it would change religion. But
yeah, but then we'd have a population explosion.
Well, that's true. But on the other hand,
and you know what? I heard a lady told me that she has a mom who's 102, and she said her mom's really bored.
Yeah, I guess it would get kind of boring.
Because, well, she's fragile, so she can't do the exciting things in life, but, you know, she's waiting to die, and it's not coming.
Well, you know, like, there are people who I think have died, and then they just sort of, it almost seems like it's too soon. And I think that's why some people talk about them still being alive, like Elvis, for instance.
Yeah.
You know, it's like almost like, why did that happen? Or Princess Diana. It's like, why did that happen? The story isn't finished.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a good point.
But what I'm trying to say is that the fact that you can't bring a dead person back to life is very proof of God, because it proves the existence of a soul.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And you have to put some... The soul is a magnificent thing.
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, of course, the telethon for curing death would be rather funny. I mean, let's go down, let's face it, 5 billion people have died. That's enough. You know? I mean, let's face it. Isn't it about time we cured the horrible people that have died in World War I, World War II, the Civil War? Let's do something about it.
Oh, my God. You should do like a radio commercial, like a spoof on that.
Yeah.
And do it like with the sound effects and everything. We raised $2 billion.
I mean, let's donate $1 million to cure death.
It's a vaccine.
Who needs graveyards anymore? I mean,
we can preserve the land. Oh wait, for land conservation. We need to do it to save the land.
I mean, because it's just that, it's like for some reason when it comes to death, science gives up. And why is that? You know? I mean, it's like we have this, we have about a minute remaining, but
okay.
It's been great having you on.
You too, Jonathan.
I tell you, that's just, but I guess you can, it's been a lot of fun. It really has.
Yeah, it's been fun with you. This was a fun interview, and I enjoyed it. And I'm very honored you contacted me.
I hope I'll contact you again soon for...
No problem.
How much do you charge for a reading?
I'm $150 an hour and $75 for half.
What is it again?
$75 for half an hour and $150 for an hour.
Okay. All right.
But you, I would do free. You're host of my, I worked with you as on a job. That's
you
different.
Would give me a free reading?
Yeah. Not right now though. Only because I had to do a whole group of people yesterday, and it was sad stories because they were all parents. It was called Compassionate Friends, and it's actually 600 chapters. It started in England.
Yeah.
And I want to I'm glad we laughed because yesterday there was a lot of people in pain. So it was just parents who lost children, so that's a little intense. But yeah, call me for a reading.
Okay. Let's talk to Madeline again.
Right. Well, yeah, we'll talk to Madeline. Well, she's very, she has a life of no regrets because she made her mark in history and she proved a point. She didn't prove that atheism is she just proved that you have rights as an atheist and that there needs to be separation of church and state. That's what she said was her mission.
Yeah.
It is wild that her son is the complete opposite. I think he's a minister now.
Yeah, he is.
Isn't that amazing? Why don't you interview him?
I thought, actually, one interview I have thought about doing is there is a guy who is a bishop, and he's like done, he's actually worked with like Jerry Falwell and other people, and now he doesn't believe in hell. Mm. Do you believe in hell, or is there a hell?
Well, I don't. Hell's an interesting thing. I don't believe in it like you go to heaven, you go to hell. I don't believe it the way I was brought up. Mm-hmm. I do think you review what your life was, and you do feel the pain you gave other people.
Let's see.
That's how I feel. But I don't think of it as it's such a separation. Because the people I talked to who passed on, a lot of them said they were in school. And some of them who were even like abusive parents or whatever, some of them have started to evolve. Not just because you died doesn't mean you're an angel, but some of them, one particular case I had, as his son was getting therapy, the father was starting to grow and understand what he did. And a lot of people can't help themselves when they do these terrible things. And then you have to look at things like now with science, is some of these things because of brain chemistry, Mm-hmm. And so sometimes I wonder, I don't know. So I think my concept of hell is different than fire and brimstone kind of thing. I don't know. I really don't know. It's a good big question here.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for coming on my show.
Well, thank you so much, Jonathan.
All right.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, bye.